I will invite the speakers to come up in the front row. So if we are ready, I think that we can start. I'm very sorry that we are a bit delayed with 10 minutes, but I hope that it is fine because we had a chance to talk to each other. First of all, I would like to say good day and thank you very much for coming to our event, which I think that it is an event that represents the interest of all of us and first of all represents our interest to promote the agenda of women, peace and security in the Republic of Moldova. Actually, the Foreign Policy Association in Moldova has designed this initiative, and practically we would like to and are welcoming you to the launch of the social media campaign that we have organized, which is called the Women Today, the Peace of Tomorrow, Dialogs, Safety and Progress, because we think that these three words are the words that are describing the role of women in the agenda of women, peace and security. Actually, this idea came to us while we were implementing a project on localization of 1325 in the Republic of Moldova with our colleagues from the Global Network of Women Peace Builders and Gender Centru in Moldova with the support of the Austrian Development Agency and continued actually as a voluntary initiative of the APE team, of the Foreign Policy Association team, but also a series of journalists from Moldova, and I will name here Vitalia Guțu, Irina Bejenaru, and Victoria Kolesnik. And with this, I would like to thank very much my team, Ludmila Nofit and Sorin, for helping us to maintain this online platform. Before going to the speeches of our distinguished guests, we would like to introduce you to a short video that we have done in order to promote the agenda of women, peace and security in the Republic of Moldova, and you will see it right away.
Trăim într-o societate formată din femei și bărbați, într-o societate în care fiecare vrea să se afirme atât femeile cât și bărbații, să aibă șanse și oportunități egale. A exclude femeile din procesele de negociere pentru pace, din procesele de prevenire a conflictelor, este nedrept, nedemocratic și inechitabil.
The Foreign Policy Association, in cooperation with the Global Network of Women Peace Builders, has implemented a project here in the Republic of Moldova and also with the participation of Gender Centru, in which we try to promote as much as possible the 1325 Women, Peace and Security agenda. Why it is important for the Republic of Moldova? First of all, because the Republic of Moldova is facing a frozen conflict and we have a security zone installed in which we have a lot of women who daily are practically living in a post-conflict environment.
Studiile demonstrează cu regret prevalența enormă, semnificativă a femeilor în rândul persoanelor care suferă în urma tuturor conflictelor și războaielor. Deci noi nu vorbim numai de forța armată care este implicată în diferite situații de conflict, dar vorbim anume de marea majoritate a populației care suferă de aceste conflicte.
What we have to do is to emphasize but also to bring to the attention of the population that women have the same rights as men, that they face different challenges than men in a post-conflict society, but also to create opportunities for them and an environment in which they will be able to operate, but also to contribute to the society, but also to the economic development of the country.
Dacă instituțiile statului demonstrează o deschidere pentru a avea o implicare a femeilor mai mare, cu siguranță lucrurile vor arăta altfel. Și atunci când vorbim despre femeie, securitate, pace, trebuie să înțelegem că de fapt trebuie să vorbim despre femeia implicată în toate domeniile și pe toate dimensiunile de dezvoltare umană.
In Moldova, we have to understand that gender equality means equal opportunities for both men and women, and it's not about taking or replacing the role of men in the society.
Astăzi, pentru a merge înainte, noi trebuie să punem accentul pe o abordare transformativă. Femeile nu sunt doar victime, ele sunt și pot fi agenți ai schimbării. Și doar în parteneriat dintre bărbați și femei, noi putem schimba societatea spre bine, spre pace și securitate.
Well, thank you very much. And just before giving the floor to Mr. Alexander Karner, who is the head of office of the Cooperation Office of Technical Cooperation at the Austrian Development Cooperation, I would like just to mention one more thing. That this platform actually, when we initiated it, we thought about three main things. The first one is to promote women who deal with security issues and who are not really known to the Moldovan community. And here we refer to women who unfold their activities in the Republic of Moldova, but also women who are dealing with the Republic of Moldova, be it researchers, be it experts, be it people who are involved in different areas which are related to women, peace and security. The second thing that we wanted to emphasize is actually the support that the international community is giving to the agenda of women, peace and security here in the Republic of Moldova. And with this, I would like to thank all the embassies which are present here in the Republic of Moldova, but also the international organizations who have already shown the support, and of course we encourage all the others to participate in our campaign which we are unfolding on the Women Today, Peace of Tomorrow platform. And the third thing, which I think that it is most important, is that this platform is actually going to help us to raise awareness on the topic of women, peace and security here in Moldova. And with this we will try to change actually the perception of women, and not talk only about women as being victims, but women being agents of change. And with this, Mr. Karner, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Victoria. Good afternoon. I see this room is already full of agents of change, yeah? And I see also already now it's quite gender balanced. I see a lot of women. Well, just a side remark. So maybe next time. So as I'm not really a gender expert, I have my speech and some papers provided today. But in general, one of ADA's priorities in our interventions is to support measures which facilitate peace-building processes in general in the long run, medium and long run. And in this regard, we count very much on capacity development and transfer of knowledge at the national and also local level. Despite some progresses made in the last 19 years since the adoption of the UN Security Council Resolution 1325, it's a very long name. I always maybe limit this to 1325. I think everybody knows that in the room what 1325 means. Full participation and leadership of women in political processes remains still exclusive. Austria is strongly committed to implement the 1325 resolution on different levels and is supporting the platforms of Women, Peace and Security agenda. That's why the Austrian Development Cooperation decided to support the regional project implemented by the Global Network of Women Peace Builders to improve the implementation of the 1325 resolution in 5 countries, which is Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Moldova and Ukraine. I assume you all are aware that whilst the UN resolution has certainly increased awareness amongst international actors about women's and gender issues in conflict situations, here in Moldova, knowledge and information on these specific issues remain limited. We as Austrians working here in Moldova always ask ourselves, how can we contribute to stabilize and build peace, and with peace building also to reduce poverty. One of the aspects that can contribute is to increase gender equality, especially in the rural areas, and advocating the principles of leave no one behind. And the Austrian Development Corporation is working under this principle, leave no one behind in general. And in fact, many people, especially women and children in the rurals, are left behind here in Moldova. So for this reason, awareness raising and promoting of the 1325 resolution can really be supportive. And ladies and gentlemen, we, the Austrian Development Corporation, as financial supporter of the regional project, strongly believe in the transformative power of the project to inform and educate the citizens of this country, as well to build platforms of communication. I think if the newly created online platform, which is launched today, will facilitate to address the most pending questions, the limitations, communicate the challenges, the obstacles, but also the chances, not only to and for local authorities, but also to NGOs, opinion leaders, communicators and journalists, like it was done last year with the workshop, especially targeting journalists. I think we already achieved a lot. So thus I thank really our partners. I thank the hosts for today's event, and I wish the platform, the online platform itself, a big success.
Mr. Karna, thank you very much, and thank you very much for supporting the project, which actually served as a first step for us coming up with this idea. And we think that involving media is very important and actually is crucial, because in this way we are practically able to reach our goal of raising awareness, this being one of the instruments that we can do that. Thank you very much. And I'm very sorry because we have limited space here, and yes, I would like each speaker to come out. And now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Martin McDowell, Chargé d'Affaires at the Embassy of the United States of America to the Republic of Moldova, and also to thank very much Mr. Derek Hogan for his message, because he has already conveyed the message of support. Please. Yeah.
Mulțumesc frumos, bună ziua la toți. Și în numele ambasadorului felicitări. Unfortunately, the ambassador is actually going back to the United States today so he can help deliver a commencement address at the University of Pittsburgh, his alma mater. So he asked me just to come and stop by. This is very important work that you're doing. On the one hand, it's kind of sad, isn't it, that we still have to have these discussions, and I'm stating the obvious, that women, for all the responsibilities, all the work, all the expectations that are placed on their heads and shoulders at homes and in the workplace around the world, we're not doing enough to make sure that we are empowering women and utilizing the agents of change that women can be in these situations. And I think there are lessons already around the world in conflict zones where we've seen statistics show, where women are the breadwinners, families do better, they're more prosperous, they're more stable. Where they're involved in the political decision-making, conflicts are less likely, and where conflicts exist, they're more easily resolved. So I think these lessons can be applied, what we've learned elsewhere in Moldova. The United States recognizes this, that's why we're supportive of these efforts around the world, and we're certainly very appreciative and supportive of what your organization is trying to do, Victoria. We have a great, long, fruitful relationship, particularly with regards to the Transnistrian conflict, and it's great to see that you're also interested in getting involved in this area. And while we don't have total gender balance yet, I do see a few other male faces here, so that's a good sign, maybe, that we're making a little bit of progress on that front as well. It's not just a women's issue, it's a national security issue, it's an investment issue. And I think it was the Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai said, we cannot all succeed if half of us are still being held back. So again, thank you very much. Just keep moving forward, mâine, and we're ready to partner with you in these efforts. Mulțumesc frumos.
Thank you very much, Mr. McDowell. I think that one of the most important things that you have mentioned here is the fact that this issue is an issue of national security, and this is something that we have to acknowledge and to understand. And now I would like to give the floor to the country representative of the UN Women in the Republic of Moldova.
Bună ziua! Good afternoon. Thank you so much for inviting UN Women to this extremely important event and launching of this very important platform, not only for women in peace and security, but for the entire country. Let me start by saying a few words about the context in which we operate today. So if we look back to the history, there was about, I think, 6,000 years, six centuries, during which a world population was doubled. Whereas the next doubling of the whole world population happened after 1950, during 30 years, during 28, 30 years. So what does this data tell us? I think it's quite obvious what was the main cause for actually world population to rise from 2.5 billion to 5 billion during that period. Because it was after adoption of the Universal Human Rights Declaration, it was after adoption of the Global Peace Resolution. And if we look from that perspective onwards further, it is very interesting that many countries, following this Global Peace Resolution, they started to also look into the importance of bringing those whose voices were not necessarily heard, even during those peace resolutions, and afterwards for the implementation. And from the UN data, we have also seen that, for instance, data of 30 countries which managed to adopt gender quota as a legislative measure in their countries. 6 of those 30 countries managed to stop their conflict and seize all types of national, local level wars that they had. And this says a lot in itself, because there are a lot of people who are still questioning, why do we have to have quota? Why do we have to have women? Why do we have to have actually this whole agenda, still higher at the global level? And here, luckily, we don't have to, prove, especially in this room, during this platform, we don't really have to prove why it is important. But it is absolutely important that this acknowledgement that we have in the room among this stakeholder is actually told further, shared further. And this wonderful tool that you are launching today is absolutely important and essential. And I was very actually happy to hear about the members, the membership of the association, because those members who are behind this association, they are the power also of helping this association to spread the word further, so that women, peace and security agenda is not only an agenda of those who are already in this field, but for the entire population and everyone who is working for the peace and security and the well-being of the state is aware and promoting this. And UN Women is very much delighted to partner with the association and the national stakeholders in this respect. And we will be committed, of course, further to also contribute, as well as also to benefit from this wonderful platform that you're establishing. And at the end, I just would like to say, I just wanted to pick up your slogan that you have said. I really like your slogan. And perhaps maybe we can even bring something like women today, then we will also get peace today and forever. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Jamsran, for your message. And I think that you have emphasized one very important thing, the fact that sometimes we are talking about women, peace and security, and women are saying and men are saying that we don't have a problem with women in security. But then when we practically try to give arguments, then they realize that we do have a problem and we have to fight for equal opportunities for both men and women. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now I would like to give the floor to Ms. Aurelia Barbaros, who is the head of the Reintegration Policy Section at the Bureau of Reintegration Policies.
Dear Mrs. Bucătaru, dear all, let me first thank you very much for this invitation and to express my enthusiasm and pleasure to participate in this important event dedicated in the launching the platform Women of Today, Peace of Tomorrow. Dialog-Siguranţă-Progres, which we consider an extraordinary initiative that will contribute to encourage the women participation in the peace and security process and to build a better society. My name is Aurelia Barbaros. I am representing the Bureau for Reintegration Policies, and today I have a great privilege and honor to speak on behalf of the Deputy Prime Minister Kristina Lesnik, Chief Negotiator of the Transnistrian settlement process. Most of you might know about the considerable role and contribution made by the Deputy Prime Minister in drafting, adoption, approval of the national program and the action plan for the implementation of the UN Security Council resolution in the Republic of Moldova. This document recognizes the key role women play in building peace and ensuring security and propose concrete action to address identified barriers which reduce the representation and influence of women in the security sector. Her appointment is the best proof of the government's committed to contribute and women's empowerment in the peace and security sector. New challenges for the Bureau of Reintegration as well as for the other actors on the platform are the following: new mechanism preventive harassment, development the gender perception questionnaire, the need to introduce the quota, and the development of this concept. Definitely, there is still a lot of work to do, but we are confident that by the commitment, active participation, enthusiasm, and the full support of the government of the Republic of Moldova, particularly of Mrs. Kristina Lesnik, we will achieve even more than proposed objectives. Thank you very much for your
Thank you very
attention.
much, Ms. Barbaros. This is very important to know that the government is giving its support to the Women, Peace and Security agenda, and of course having Ms. Lesnik as Deputy Prime Minister, but also involved in the reintegration issues, which are a main security issue for the Republic of Moldova. It's a great thing, but we would like also to see more women participating in negotiation processes as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with this said, I would like to give the floor to Mrs. Colonel Mariana Grama, who is the Head of International Cooperation Directorate at the Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Moldova. Ms. Grama, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me congratulate all of you who contributed to organization this major event, launching the online platform Women Today, Peace for Tomorrow, which is dedicated to women agenda and supporting especially the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 implementation in the Republic of Moldova. I would like to say that the woman can change the world, and more, she can create the peace if she runs. 23 years ago, it was difficult for me to understand this message. I was wondering what can have common the running with the peace. More than when I joined the armed forces, one of the rules of the conduit just say that running on the military base without scope prejudice generates the panic. Today, I and many successful military women can say that only a woman who runs can change really the world and create the peace. I run a lot, not in the proper sense of the word. I run to grow from military. I would like to say that I run a lot, not in proper sense of the word. I run to grow from military career, that I could fulfill my functional duties no worse than male military, to demonstrate that we, women, are part of the society and we also can. And I realize the more you run, the more obstacles you overcome, the more you meditate. This makes the dream to become bigger. 23 years ago, I didn't notice that I was going to be the woman who will break the glacier in the military system of the Republic of Moldova. In 2007, I became first military woman at leadership position in combat support structures, having only the men military subordinates. In 2009, I was the military woman who created and lead the new structures related to the environmental protection in the military sector, which contribute to consolidation of environment security. I was the woman who has successfully managed a project during the last 15 years on the disposal of pesticides waste stockpiles scattered around of the entire country from the Soviet period, conducting joint operation with 37 districts commissioned for emergency situation and with total number of about 840 male militaries. It is a project which brings tangible results to national and regional security, including improvement of people living standards to live in the safer environment. Since 2015, I was first military woman who served in position of Deputy Head of Logistic Directorate, and today as Head of International Cooperation Directorate within the Ministry of Defense. Thus, being part of number of committees provides to me a unique opportunity to promote the interest of military women to have access to studies, to have access to peacekeeping missions, to be stimulated and promoted, to restore and improve the social package, especially for the women who are on maternity leave or child care leave, to support the need to create military women's infrastructures and much more. And I would like to say that yesterday we have a scoping visit together with His Excellency Mr. Derek Hogan, Ambassador of United States. We visited our infrastructure from the training area in Bulgaria. And it's a great example when we first started to improve our infrastructure, create the barracks for women, to create the sanitation system for the women, to create the military field company which integrate also the space for the woman. And also, not least one, I am first military woman with the colonial rank in the National Army of the Republic of Moldova and the first woman who lead the first time the military parade with a woman military formation. I think that I am a living example by being able to break the stereotypes in the brains of many of us and to pave the way for other successful women in the system for peace and security. I did because I ran a lot of, much more like a man, to demonstrate that we women also can change the world. And how can you convince a community that women can? How can you convince a society that peace depends on the woman? How can you form a society with tendency to live in a world where women are not just victims of violence, but they can take care of their place in solving conflicts and to participate in the political, economical and social life of the country? Honored assistants, ladies and gentlemen, I am convinced that with the launching of this online platform, we could find the answers to all mentioned questions. I am convinced that this platform was born out of desire to promote women agenda, peace and security, especially women in the security and defense sector who have opted for military career and more than have come to fulfill missions entrusted successfully, breaking down barriers and prejudice. But most importantly, we expected that this platform will be the platform for cooperation and hope, especially in the current unstable security environment. Let's fruit the platform to encourage more people to believe in their own forces and not deviate from their dreams, find their strength to overcome any obstacles and the power to succeed even when it seems impossible. Let to be a way to unite voices, to be heard in order to improve the policy, to create a more comfortable and harmless environment. Moreover, through this platform, we hope to push the decision-making process from exclusion to democratic one, from gender inequality to gender mainstreaming, from conflict and violence to supporting peace and building stable and prosperous society. I think this platform could serve not only as discussion forum, but also to become a digital library for resources, literacy tools and publications. I believe that through this platform, success stories will be shared, so they can build confidence in women-owned forces to change the world and establish the peace. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to express my gratitude for being with you at this major event, launching today online platform for Women Today, Peace of Tomorrow. Please allow me, on behalf of you, on behalf of all women, to express my sincere congratulations to the Foreign Policy Association, team, which has been able to lay the foundation of this platform, wishing them a wider and broader online community for ensuring peace and stability, not only in the country, but also at the international level. Thank you.
Ms. Grama, thank you very much, and I think that all of us will join you in this running marathon for women, peace and security. And of course that one way of convincing the others is by own example. And thank you very much for paving the way in the Moldovan army for women who can take your example for that. And I will invite you to stay here because I would like my colleagues to help me, and we will put some chairs here in a more cozy environment so that we can all participate in the Q&A. Please take a seat here. No, please. I will one chair over there. Nu, stați dumneavoastră aici și dumneavoastră luați loc. So in a more cozy environment at the moment, we have all the speakers here. Ms. Barbaros, if you would like to take a seat. It is my honor to open the Q&A session, and I'm sure that you all already have some questions that you would like to address to our distinguished speakers here. The speech is very
Clear or nothing?
Then I think that I would like to start first because I think that it is really good to have different kind of platforms which would promote the women, peace and security agenda. And here I would like to acknowledge also the initiatives that other partners in Moldova, other organizations in Moldova has done it. And here we have Elena Murzac from the NATO Center, who has also brought a very big investment in the women, peace and security agenda. We have Natalia Albu, we have Ms. Bodruk here present. So practically we have a community of organizations which are promoting the women, peace and security agenda. But still, this is an issue in Moldova, and one of the biggest challenges that we are facing at the moment is how do we address this issue to the regions of the Republic of Moldova, so that the local authorities can also take it into account, but also introduce it in their agenda as well. So I think that my main question, my first question would be also to the Bureau of Reintegration, which is practically the leading agency of the 1325 implementation in Moldova. How do you see the implementation of 1325 at the local level?
Dacă îmi permite să răspund în română, sau dacă colegii mei îmi permit să mă ajute.
Da, dacă puteți să traduceți. Sau vorbiți în română și ulterior o să traducem.
Deci implementarea rezoluției 1325 este un moment destul de important și este foarte binevenit în Republica Moldova, și anume prin implicarea femeilor la nivel de conducere și anume în domeniul de apărare, așa, de eliminarea acestor fenomene și aspecte ce țin de hărțuire, de violență, de egalitate în gen. Și această implementare va fi cu suportul și necesită suportul tuturor instituțiilor și tuturor partenerilor de dezvoltare, și doar cu sprijinul și cu suportul acestor parteneri noi vom reuși să aducem Republica Moldova și să implementăm rezoluția 1325, după cum mă repet, deci este foarte binevenită în Republica Moldova.
So practically the message of Ms. Barbaros is that in order to implement the 1325 resolution, most important is to have the support of the international community, because actually with the financial assistance it is possible to introduce all these changes at the local level. And this is actually one of the issues that Moldova is facing. Usually in the strategic documents action plan, all the time it is mentioned that the financial support of the donors is of most important. So this is why I would like to ask you, Ms. Jamsran, what is the agenda of you and women when we are talking about localization processes?
Thank you so much for this very important question. Actually, we've discussed this matter with Ms. Lisnik very recently, and I was very pleased actually to hear her views about first of all, what they are already doing in terms of localization. I understood that the government is already preparing a team who was already trained outside of Moldova on the localization of women, peace and security agenda. And soon this team will be already looking into a very concrete plan of action of how to actually do it in the Moldovan context. I mean, talking about UN Women, I think one of the things that we definitely need to realize, I just want to repeat what you have already said. I mean, we do have, even in this room, wonderful partners, women leaders already, who are championing in their own fields, be it in the academy, in the military academy, or in the police academy, or in the ministries, like yourself, who are already showcasing how women can do it, and what are the paths and what are the solutions that they actually have. I think very similar showcasing really needs to be brought closer to those who are decision-makers at the local level. And when we talk about peace and security, as previous speakers also mentioned, it is not only a very high level outside security agenda. Security starts from home. Security starts from the individuals. And I think it is important for us also to show this link, how the security underpins every aspect of life from all angles, be it from the political angle, economic, social angle, in the historical perspective, and we, as an agency who is also actively supporting and promoting this agenda in the Republic of Moldova, as well as in the region and globally, we will be happy to help to bring in also the expertise and knowledge that already exists outside, because the localization indeed is not happening widely, but I'm quite certain that Moldova might be able to actually become one of the first successful countries in the region actually to lead the others by example.
Ms. Drama, I think that this issue is very important, and due to the fact that the Ministry of Defense actually was doing the first steps in implementing the 1325 resolution in the Republic of Moldova, I would like to address a question to you, which is related to the activity that the Ministry of Defense is doing in the regions of the Republic of Moldova. If this is also included in the programs that you are developing and training programs that you are developing for the regions.
Thank you. I would like to mention that we have we have an institutional action plan to implement the resolution 3025, and a lot of activities are on the agenda. Also, we try just first of all to share our experience and to encourage more women to just valorificate their potential, taking into account what just position they have in the military sector. I would like to say that a lot of training happened, and especially last year with support of UNDP. We have a training to the key personnel which we have in the Ministry of Defense, just in order to change the mentality. Regretfully, the stereotypes exist, and taking into account that we are the sector where predominate the men, military men, first of all, it's necessary just to justify and to convince them that it's important many times the voice of the woman to integrate all aspects which is related for the military woman. We achieve a lot. We have a tangible results. How I mentioned, we started from academia. Now women also can join the military academy. In the past, we cannot just think about that. Now women can just be nominated to the all position which we have in the National Army. We have women who are commander of the platoon. We have women who are commander of the group. In the past, it's not possible to be like that. We have the women in the Special Forces Battalion, which is more dedicated for the men in the past was. We are working, and how I mentioned, we are doing it, but it's necessary again. It's necessary to have more voice at the political level, at the decision level, in order to promote, to support the women. We have women in the peacekeeping operation. We would like to increase the number of their participation. because it's really example show to us that women play a key role in the solution of the conflict.
Thank you very much, and I would like to address the public to see if there are any questions which emerged. No questions? Yes, please.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and European Integration, Michaela Martina. I would like to congratulate, first of all, the Association for Foreign Policy and its partners for launching this instrument, this very useful instrument, as well as the speakers for their enthusiastic speeches. My question would be for Ms. Rama. I think Republic of Moldova should be proud with you, not only because you are the first women that had this result, that achieved these results, but first of all with your meritocratic results as an individual as well. And my question would be, at the beginnings undoubtedly, you had a lot of this perception cliches, like gender cliches. How did the situation change now? Like, how do you face them now? And are they still the same or?
No, it's totally different. This is why I show my just career in my speech, taking an account just to show that mentality is changed. And for example, when I became, in 2015, I became first female colonel, immediately next year appear next one. Now we are 3 female military colonel in the army. It's difficult still to achieve the results, but which is important. Today is sufficient just to, if women would like to join the armed forces, it's sufficient to write a report and to submit it. If you to apply, if you just follow all the examination, because it's necessary to be evaluated, if you are compatible to be nominated for the position which you submit, it's okay. When I joined the armed forces, when I wrote first my report, immediately the second page was a report that I am not able to achieve this position and I need to leave the armed forces. This means that, for example, military male in the time asked me, it's not job for the woman. The job for the woman is to stay in the kitchen, to take care of the family, to take care of the husband. How you will manage all the system? Today this is not problem. It's our choice. If women would like to follow their dreams, they will follow, and it's changed. It's not anymore necessary to convince our Minister of Defense that we need the infrastructures, especially for the women. I mentioned we now have the infrastructure for the women in the military base. We have an academy. We have, for example, in the gym also it's a special part which is dedicated for the woman. In the past, no. Regretfully, we use uniform the same like a man. Today is different.
So practically we are seeing slowly but changes.
In
this area. Yes, please.
Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you very much for the invitation, and first of all for this inspirational for all of us, because it's, as you mentioned here, everybody has a role in promoting the agenda, women, peace and security, and having you as an example, and knowing that there is a commitment from the government, commitment from donors, from civil society. All these facts inspire us to continue to promote this agenda. I remember very well the same discussion in the same format 2 or 3 years ago. It was completely different, and we were questioning if we need or not to promote, and why do you need this? And it's not only dealing with women, peace and security, but with different issues from security and defense. And I totally agree, Victoria, that we are now at the second step when we have to localize not only the agenda women, peace and security, but other topics dealing with security for people to understand that security start with us. And from having all these great speakers today that inspired us to continue, I would like to thank you for this commitment and for the fact that you have this voice and this platform indeed will serve the joint effort of having all these voices together, because there are the websites, official websites of different stakeholders or members of the civil society that are promoting, but having this joint effort and to continue to be present in media, online, to be present in different regions of Moldova, and giving this example of the role of women, peace and security. And of course we know that in our sector of security and reform, we need this international assistance. And government have this commitment, but sometimes don't have the budget. Civil society have initiative, don't have the commitment. So only with this joint effort, we could promote any type of the security issues, and women, peace and security for today is important to people to understand, because yes, it's a society problem, not only of the Ministry of Defense and not only of UN Women specifically, and all of us present here. Thank you very much for the initiative, and I really hope that we will continue to everybody present in this room to contribute and to go with this platform and have this presentation in different regions of Moldova.
Thank you very much, Elena. We will definitely take this idea on board, and we will think about going in the region of Moldova and promote the Women, Peace and Security agenda. And if there are no other questions, I would just like at the end of this session, of the Q&A session, for all the speakers to tell us what are the 3 key issues that they believe that will help us to succeed, or that Republic of Moldova needs in order to succeed with the Women, Peace and Security agenda. Ms. Shamsan, I would like to begin with you.
When you were just asking this question, this situation which I have seen in South Sudan, and from my very recent mission in Palestine, just popped up to my mind. I think one of the most important things that we definitely have to bear in mind is everything would be possible if we approach it with an open mind. As soon as we just open our mind and ask why not? Why not this way and not that way? A lot of things become real. The second important part is and this is, I'm not just speaking because you have asked, we do have this concept embraced by UN Women team in Moldova, and that is the concept of keeping questioning the status quo. Keeping the questioning status quo is really radical and is an important way to transform, because now everyone in line with SDG agenda, we talk about transformative agenda, but how do we actually achieve transformation is through questioning the status quo, so that we can get out of the usual boxes. And maybe perhaps the third one would be keep sharing, keep inspiring others, and keep also inspiring and supporting those who are already doing this, as you are doing, and as your association is going to now expand this one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to say that after your speech is very difficult to mention, but really we need to start from the questionnaire and really to identify all the needs which is necessary, to identify all the problems which exist in society, and to adapt especially the platform to be useful for all. Doesn't matter that it's young people or it's older one. It's important to be that will be the platform for everybody. And secondly, I would like to say that it's important to share story which will just encourage the women to follow their dreams. Because sometimes it's not sufficient one step just to take the road which you would like the woman to follow it. And third one, it's necessary just according with the needs to identify how we can improve the policy, because regretfully sometimes we have the problems with the policy which will not give to us the opportunity to realize our wishes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kana.
First, I would say breaking stereotypes. It was mentioned already. Thank you very much for this very, very good role model, I would say. And Austrian Development Corporation supports, especially in a very early stage, this breaking of stereotypes. So to support measures who will break the stereotypes. Vice versa, not only women, but also men. Vice versa is very much needed. So I would suggest for you to, for example, for this platform to also introduce, to address this more to men also. For example, men working as nurses, yeah, would be nice to invite them, for example, because they can be advocates, those people. They overcome with their work the stereotypes. Yeah. Second aspect, I would say, is listen to each other, even if you have a different opinion. Try to understand your counterpart, and try to find an agreement or somehow, I would say, compromise. This country needs a culture of compromise, not only on a political level. Third, yeah, again, address the men. So I mean, I look in the room. It's mainly women. But I think also men should be really the advocates for this platform.
Yeah, well, definitely we will have to find men to advocate for the platform. And thank you very much, because you are a role model in this sense here.
Yeah.
Deci, în promovarea și implementarea rezoluției 325 privind pacea, femeile și securitatea, după cum am vorbit, deci asigurarea sau succesul, mai bine zis, a implementării acestei platforme o vom datora în colaborare, doar în comună colaborare cu guvern, cu implicarea tuturor instituțiilor, cu partenerii de dezvoltare și, într-adevăr, după cum a zis și domnul, deci rolul primordial ar fi în raport femei și bărbați și încurajarea femeii, în ultimul rând, fără lipsa bărbaților. De încurajarea femeilor de a merge mai departe, de a face lucruri mult mai demne, mai decente și să ajungă la toate nivelurile de conducere.
Yes, well, definitely the idea of promoting women doesn't mean leaving men behind. It means running together for a common goal. So on this note, thank you very much for participating, and I do hope that all of us, we will stay in touch and will continue together to promote the Women, Peace and Security agenda in the Republic of Moldova, and we will succeed all together. Thank you very much. We would like to do a group photo, if it's possible. I just say one of them was selected by UN. Yeah, I see the to change the history. Thank you. Picture with you.